But brothers and sisters, I got to introduce these sisters. First, we have Miss Alexia. Miss Alexia. We have Alexia Sims. And let me get these titles right, because see, these women have worked too hard for me to be just saying they with the HBREA. And yeah, be Dr. Dunn looking at her notes. First, we have Miss Alexia Sims. She is president, honey, of the Women's Council of the Houston Black Real Estate Association. And she is also with the Rogers Group Realty. Welcome to the Dr. Don Radio Show, Alexia Sims. How are you, darling?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. Y'all hear that applause? Yeah, we got to give everybody an applause here on the Dr. Don Radio Show. And next we have, always looking fabulous, Atia Willis. She is the president of the Young Realist Division, Houston. Okay, we got to clap it up for Miss Atia Willis. How are you, darling?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. Why do I feel like we're not going to talk about real estate? We're going to talk about men and boys and dating, all that kind of stuff.
I'm an open book, so let's go.
Hey, that's what I like to hear. And last but not least, she is with the Guidry Realty Group, and she is also the new president of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, Felicia Guidry. How are you, girl?
I am super amazing. Thank you, Dr. Don. I'm so excited to be on here with these powerhouse ladies leading the charge. Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
You got it wrong. They're resetting and aligning for greater. But we'll
yeah. It's time to reset. Yes.
Reset. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I love this group. I love what they do. You do not have to be a realtor to be in the organization. And we're going to talk about all that good stuff later. But ladies, give us your 30-second introduction. We'll start with you, Alexia, then Atia, then Felicia. Tell us what you do in the real estate arena, ladies.
All right. So I am a licensed real estate agent. I have been so since 2016, specializing in investment properties. I sometimes go by Duplex Lex because I do have a niche for multifamilies as well, and helping people to be able to get their first investment property and build some generational wealth.
Okay. I love that. Next, you, darling, Atia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Atia Willis. I am a realtor here in Houston in the office Next Home Executives. I am also a realtor who's been featured on shows. I used to have my own. I had 2 talk shows prior to being a realtor. So this is what I love to do. It's so exciting. And I get the pleasure being an affiliate of HBREA, being the founding president of the YRD Houston chapter. Okay. So that's why I'm here. I'm here and I'm ready to kind of make my mark.
Well, she is making it, honey. And she makes it with fashion too. Okay, we need to talk about where you get them dresses, girl. Cause and look, I'm telling y'all, y'all better be at the gala on the 22nd. Are we still selling tickets or what? Felicia, get off.
We are okay.
Get off the mic.
Yeah, we still have a
Yes, we still got some tickets.
Okay, are you at the gala? I see the shoulders off. If I missed the gala, that's how we do it here. Okay, dress up, y'all. Look, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These ladies, wonderful ladies, but I am now on Facebook Live, everyone. So thank you who are listening online. Thank you to all who listen through the app. And thank you for watching. And we will be uploading this to, of course, my YouTube and my podcast platforms next week. Now, ladies, what does HBREA do? Houston Black Real Estate Association, talk about it.
Well, good evening, Dr. Don. I am super excited to be on the call with everybody on today. So first you asked to do an intro behind the scenes. Who am I? I'm Felicia Guidry. I am broker owner of Guidry Realty Group, and we are powered by EXP for technology. Yes.
All right.
So as a broker, I also do financial literacy. I teach financial literacy in our communities, and I also am a I talk on the radio. Of course, I love talking on the radio, right? So of course, I used to have Manifest Monday. We enjoyed doing some shows and times together. So we all do have some of those multiple things that's happening behind the scenes. And you say, no, Dr. Dawn, you have not missed the gala. The HBREA gala is this Saturday. So why is this girl dressed up? Because I'm already on my presidential duties of HBREA, which is the Houston Black Real Estate Association. I'm currently in DC. I am in Washington, DC with AMA. That's the African American Mayors Association Conference. And I just finished speaking with our Assistant General, Attorney General, Kristen Clark. It's been super amazing with all of these mayors. And of course, our very own mayor of the city of Houston is in the place, shared some amazing information. So you asked, what does HBREA do, right? Yeah. What is it that we don't do, right? We are about democracy and housing. But in order to be about democracy and housing, you have that multiple focus of that. What are you trying to do? Ensure that everyone that wants to own a home have the right to own a home, and it's done decent in order. I'll just say it like that, right? So unfortunately, it has not been so. Right. Our organization is the local chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and I was here with our national president and our president-elect, right? Yeah. Here in Washington. But NAREB was founded in 1947 because African Americans could not be realtors back with the National Association of Realtors. Okay, so we established our own. That's what we do when there's a barrier. We break down the barriers, right? And we start what we need to do, right? We reset. So then the national organization was formed. Well, guess what? 2 years later, in 1947, the Houston Black Realtors, it was HREA, the Realtors Association, but then we took on the name, the Houston Black Real Estate Association is what our DBA is currently. Because why? We had the same issues everywhere. It's national. Our organization, NAREB, has over 100 plus chapters in cities near you. So if y'all are listening to this, you need to connect with a NAREB local chapter. So, and these young ladies that I am on with, I'm not going to take it all. We have affiliates, and our amazing affiliate presidents are on, Miss Atia, Willis, and Alexia Sims, and they'll tell you about their respective allied a part of NAREB and HBREA. So I don't want to steal their thunder.
And I guarantee Felicia did not have a cue card. Because there is no way that I would. What? I'm a member. The only thing I can tell you about a house is that it's pretty. And what okay, it ain't happening.
Dr. Dawn,
what?
Listen, I got my sneakers on. We had a sneakers ball tonight, so I'm dressed in my gown. And I mean, they were the mayors had First Lady Kamala Harris. They were enjoying her, right? It's just amazing. But I got my sneakers on. Okay, Good. So they've done a lot, and it really gives us a great perspective of what really happens behind the scenes. Nobody really knows what happens behind the scenes. So keep everybody up in prayer. The mayors in here in the city. I'll share more about that.
We pray for everyone. But Atia, Alexia, tell us what you two do, darlings, with your respective positions.
Oh, I'll let Madam President Alexia go ahead.
Okay, so as president of the Women's Council, we are the servant arm of the Houston Black Real Estate Association.
Servant leadership.
Exactly. And so what that means is that we do a lot of things within the community, focusing on financial literacy. So we do classes for youth starting at 3rd grade through 12th grade. And then we also do home ownership classes as well for adults, and focusing on that kind of low to moderate income buyer and making sure that they know about the different resources that are available to them. And just that even home ownership is a possibility for them, because sometimes they don't know. And so making sure that we're kind of leveling the playing field is a big part of our mission. We also give out scholarships every year.
Yes, you do.
We go do things with senior citizens. And so it's a great organization to be a part of. The name is a little bit deceiving. We do have men in the women's council. Okay, so don't think that it's just for women. We have a few good men, as we like to
Okay.
call them, who participate with us as well. But definitely a servant leadership affiliate of HBREA.
Let me tell y'all something before we get too deep into this. God is good. He is moving. He is in the place. I just have to say that y'all don't understand what's going on and why I had to reschedule. God is good.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell y'all something. I am so glad for and I'm not talking about just these women or networkers, all that. You talking about some sisterhood. You're talking about forming good relationships with people. So I just want to say thank you to this amazing group of people. I just have to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because it is not easy, personal lives. And just, you better, if anything, you need to join the HBREA to meet some good people.
Yes.
But that's another show for another time.
Part.
That's another show for another time. You, Atia, talk about what you do.
Well, we are YRD, the Young Realtors Division, and we have 3 categories that describe our young. That is young at heart,
Okay.
young in age, and young in the industry are within NARAB.
Love it.
So that is what makes our members young, and we bring a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So our mission is to redefine the real estate culture, meaning coming together.
That's
We
good.
have Tomorrow's Leaders program where we work with new realtors to be able to teach the fundament of being a realtor and the careers. And then we have my favorite, the YEP program, which is the Young Entrepreneurship Program, where we go inside the schools. We go inside the high schools and colleges. It goes up to 25 years old, where we teach different careers in real estate. And we also give scholarships, but we really want to teach our community of children the importance of real estate, whether you're going to buy it or whether you're going to work in the field. They need to know now so we can try to break this generational curse.
I love that. What I find interesting about the Houston Black Real Estate Association is that it is an extremely competitive industry, but you all are not competing with each other. You all are very supportive of each other.
Yes.
It's a spirit, I would say, about the HBREA. And that's why, Felicia, you're like, join. I said, I'm not a realtor. She said, Dr. Tanya. And I said, I don't want to talk about no houses when I go to a meeting. She said, trust me, one of the best organizations I've ever been a part of.
Yes.
Your spirits. Talk about the spirit, y'all, any of y'all, because it's a competitive industry, but y'all aren't.
Well, I would love to talk about our president.
Do it now.
We are grateful to have her because she is the type of leader who wants the spirit to be great. She wants the whole alignment comes from her. Okay. When she came into her position, that is what her vision was, is that she wanted us all together. And we were all inspired. I think all the leaders in YRD, we were like, wow, we thought we were going to be on our own. We thought we were going to have to figure it out. And she's like, no. Call me. I'll get your meetings. I'll do we're all together. So I am just honored to be able to work under my president.
And Felicia, if you don't know, she has had some loss in her family. And let me just say, the sisterhood and brotherhood of HBREA has supported her immensely.
Yes.
That's what this organization does. She's put it on social media, some of the lost family members. We're not embarrassing her in any way, but I'm telling you, behind the scenes is what y'all don't see about this organization. Any of you, whatever you want to say. We're not even talking about discrimination yet. I feel like we're in a sorority meeting. What's going on?
You know what? I love it. You know what they're having here? They call them fireside chats. So I feel like we on the fireside. Okay. So, but you're so right. And with that being said, and Madam Alexia. You know, that warms my heart. But let me tell you, the culture of our organization is ingrained with care. You know, our organization has a chaplain. Very few. I have not been a part of many organizations that have a chaplain. And I'll think about when I initially came into the organization, I came in as the chaplain, right? And people may think, oh, a chaplain, yeah. But you know what? It can't, the spirit of leading with an organization that puts him first. That's why we're celebrating 74 years of being in existence.
Let me
because
clap it up for that.
Put him first in the beginning, and he is first in the end, because he has the last and final say in every situation. So we definitely understand that. But I got to give it up to some of my leaders, okay? Our immediate past president, Madam Marla Lewis, right? I love her so much. When she and I got started in the organization, we started at the same time at a housing fair and Greenspoint Mall. But you know what? I met Kimberly Barnes Henson, she's a past president of HBREA. Right now, she is the current chair she served on our board as the current chair, but she is the state president for the Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers. I met her working inside of a job, right? I was working with some real estate professionals. And you know what she said? Why I don't see you at the HBREA meetings? And my question was, what is HBREA? And that's the big question that everybody needs the answer to. Who are we? We're a collaborative group of Black professionals that help one another grow. So no, there's no backbiting. We have broker circle events to help each other grow in their business. Wonderful. While we know our mission is to help our consumers and our clients.
Again, people, when you put God at the center, you know you're not competing. You collaborate. That ain't the topic, but that's another topic. That's why some of y'all organizations falling apart. Anyway, let's start with you, Alexia and Atia. I'm serious. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But that's another topic for another time. It's too much foolishness going on. When I go to the meeting, and anyway, we're gonna stick to this because that's another topic for another time. I want to start with you, Alexia, and then Atia, and then Felicia. It's National Fair Housing Month. Does discrimination in the housing market still exist? Yes or no?
Absolutely. It would be wonderful if it did not, but in the day and age that we live in, even in 2023, we think we're so far removed, right, from discrimination and racism. It is very much alive and present today, even in real estate.
Yes or no, Atia?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Since the early 1900s, we are still fighting the same fight, unfortunately.
Felicia, yes or no? Yeah.
Yes. And scripture says, don't be ignorant of Satan's devices, right? And the reality is it's coming in a different form. It may be coming on paper right now. You don't realize what's happening to you while we can't get ahead because it's happening on paper. And that's what we're here for, to uncover the paper, right? We have what's called a Sheba report. Dr. Don, that people definitely need to go to our website and take a look at that. That's the state of housing in Black America, to let you know what's still happening right here in 2023. It's still happening. Yes.
Alexia, let's start with you. Felicia talked about it's happening on paper. We hire a realtor, right?
Right.
How do we know they're not showing us houses in certain neighborhoods? You know what I mean? Because the truth is, have many of us bought houses in neighborhoods, or we're shown houses and we think that's it? Because the truth is, we don't know about real estate, right? We're buying a house. We know a house looks good. We know we can afford it. We like the neighborhood. Make sure it's no flooding if you live in Houston, right? But we don't know. Maybe we're paying, our interest rate is different. We don't know. So Alexia, give us some examples. How do we know? Now, of course, don't deal with a realtor outside of HBREA. That's what I would say.
Let's start there. That's how we know first,
but
right?
If you don't, how does somebody know?
I would say to begin, the beauty of us being in such a technology driven culture is that as a consumer, although of course you want to rely on experts, there's a lot of information available to you as a consumer. And so being able to kind of do your own due diligence, especially when it comes to choosing your real estate agent, is going to be very important, because you want to make sure that these people have your best interest in mind. What are their reviews like? Right? Do they have a history of kind of doing things that aren't necessarily ethical? A big part of being a real estate agent is following a certain code of ethics, right? And so if they can't even do that, just imagine, what your experience will be like. And of course, there's a book called the Color of Law, right? And it talks about the kind of journey that housing discrimination has taken. You would think that we would get here and be a little more progressive, but in a lot of ways we aren't. And it's unfortunate. And so to be able to have someone in your corner advocating for you, and not to discriminate against anybody else, but someone who looks like you can very much relate to you in a way that others may not. And so that's just an added advantage of kind of using someone and doing some research and knowing that they have your best interest.
Education is key. Alexia said that you can go to the HBREA meetings, but it's up to you to do some research.
Right.
Atia, what have you seen, Atia?
Well, I actually had a client last year that was referred to me by a family member, and she was working with a realtor, and she told me the houses that I really wanted and the neighborhoods I really wanted to look at, either the realtor I was working with didn't have the time to show.
Hold on. Is that Kamala Harris? Tell Vice President. It's Felicia in D.C. What's going on there? Turn that down. Tell Kamala Harris you'll call her later. We on the Dr. Dawn show. Okay, go ahead, Atia.
No, you're fine. So she told me that the realtor didn't even have the time, or she always told her about a different area where we're going. So I had to teach and explain to her what was happening was this realtor that was not the same color of our skin was steering her in a different direction. And it's called steering. So if you say, oh, I'm interested in this neighborhood, I really like it. And they're saying, well, what about this neighborhood? They're trying to steer you in a place that you think is for you because maybe majority minorities live there. But we should be able to live anywhere we want to.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
That's right. Now, now some people of different races, they don't mean you any harm, but they're trying to spare you because they know the neighborhood is not going to be accepting. Right? My thing is still, that's my choice. Let me decide if I want to live next to the KKK president. You know what I mean? So either way, so not.
And we had those conversations. There was a neighborhood in Conroe, and they had a lot of establishments with Confederate flags. And I just let my clients know what we were going into and what was nearby, and I let them make that decision.
Right. Don't make it for us. We'll decide what we're going to do. If I want to live next to the Confederate King of America, that's my business. Felicia, you talked about on paper. What are some other things, red flags that we know maybe it's discrimination going on? You're on mute.
Okay, great. So, something.
No, hold on. She does this at board meetings too.
Okay, so no, so I'm listening to the conversation, and I'm thinking about. When I'm thinking about the conversation and what Alexia talked about in your question was, how do we know that we're not being put over here versus over there? Did you give me all the houses that's called steering? Right. And there is that's against our fair housing laws, is to steer as a real estate professional. So indirectly or directly, is it happening? Yes, we say that it is still happening. You can see over the news how they run into real estate professionals undercover just to see if it actually happens. Yes. There was redlining back in the day, right? Is it still kind of happening? Yes, it's not physical red lines, but is it still happening? Yes, it is. We talk about diversity and inclusion, and that's what we do as real estate professionals, ensure that our clients are getting, being treated, I would say, fairly just as anyone else. And when we talk about, is it on paper? The answer is yes. if we're still under 50% in Black home ownership rates, we have more professionals in the Black industries making more money than what they were making in the 50s. So why is it that the wealth gap is still there, right?
Yeah.
So where is it? It's on paper somewhere, right? How's it happening? It's happening when we don't have fair access to credit, right?
Yeah.
We're challenged in that area. So education and financial literacy is so important. So yes, Don.
And let me say, that is why in the HBREA, even if you say, well, I can't afford the membership, you can afford to pay $10 for a class, or they have free classes, or isn't real estate week coming up? What is that?
Realtors Week, Ms. Don. I'm ready to call you Madam Don, because that's how we refer to our ladies, Madam. So, but Dr. Don is an amazing talk show host, but she's also a professional that has a business. She is obsessed with media, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? When you think about this for professionals, you have a hair salon, realtors,
Yes.
industry professionals. We get our hair done, so we want a good professional, right? We have barbers. You want to get your hair cut, right? You have people that are stylists. So anybody that has a business mindset or in business, so you do not have to be in a real estate profession in order to be a member. So we had Realtors Week. How did y'all enjoy lunch and learn on today? Was super amazing.
I didn't go, but yeah, I had my hands up like I went. I didn't go. I don't want to make it seem like I was there. I'm sorry.
No worries. But so each day during Realtors Week, it happens throughout our organization, through our NARAB chapters and the different local chapters of NARAB. What happens is each day of the week, we're going somewhere, we're visiting something, we're bringing education and financial literacy to the front table. Well, and I'll just give a brief overview, I'll give this brief because we got some chairs over here on the line. But one day we had fair housing, right? We talked about diversity and inclusion. On Tuesday was our political advocacy day. We went to City Hall, got a proclamation, and we talked to the new representative there, Keith Bynum. He was able to talk about housing, what's happening in Houston. And then on Wednesday, we had an amazing conversation, collaborative with HAR in our organization. It was a great call on Wednesday. And then Thursday, of course, we had Legacy Ladies in Leadership. But tomorrow, that's going to be a great day because we're giving back to our communities. Everybody's rolling up their sleeves, got their gloves on. We're doing a community connection where we're cleaning neighborhood streets. So we give back too.
Oh, absolutely. There are scholarships.
Oh,
the gala.
Talk about that, Madam Atia or Alexia, about the scholarships we finna.
Well, hold on. We're going to talk about the gala at the end.
Okay.
Because I got some more discrimination we got to talk about. Look, if you ain't got your tickets by now, come on. What are we waiting on? Either you're not let me tell you what's going on.
Party of the year.
Either you're not going or you're going to try to sneak in with me, and it ain't happening. I'm telling you. Come on, Black people. We got to be better. you gonna act like you just stopped by the Power Center. No, you did not. With your ball gown. Please stop it. I'm a member of the church.
I can tell the way you dress, you didn't get an invitation.
I'm a member of the church, okay? But that ain't got nothing to do with what we got going on tonight. Let's be honest. Are you gonna try to, Dr. John, can you? I ain't got time for you. Let's be honest, y'all. How do we report housing discrimination, y'all? Alexia, Atia, Felicia, how do we report it?
So initially I would say through your like local board, right? Okay. So if it's HAR and you see an agent or someone that is discriminating, to kind of do that there and take those channels. I know NARAB also has now what they're calling a realtor escalation desk. And so nationally, they're allowing for people to be able to report those types of situations so that there can be an investigation and then prayerfully, right? There's some good that comes from it eventually, but that's something new that NARAB is rolling out to try to help to eliminate some of that discrimination that we see.
And I think you can't ignore it. It's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something about it. And it better be something done about it, not oh, well, we'll look into it. No, you better be looking into it.
Right.
If not, the HBREA is going to be on you, right? Because do you all provide, let's say you want to sue a realtor because they were discriminating. Does the HBREA provide legal services, legal advice? What kind of services do you all provide for that? Or that's not,
Okay.
what do you all provide in those arenas, in those situations?
Let's talk about it from that legal perspective. First, the realtor, because we're not going to call them a realtist, is not going to be discriminating realtors. You're not going to do that, right? We're not steering anyone in any direction. So, but
Okay.
the reality is we all have a professional real estate license that comes through TREC. So if you feel that you may have been discriminated against, or somebody just didn't treat you right, I would say the first thing, because a lot of times because if say, for example, you have to have purchasing power as a client. Yeah. You're coming in looking for your real estate professional, right? Have you been pre-qualified? Have you went through that process? So if the real estate professional tells you, hey, have you been pre-qualified? And then you can't be all up in the uproar behind that.
Yeah, come on. You want a $5 million home. And
you don't qualify. That's not discrimination, right?
Yeah,
but
right.
So,
you need to get that in order.
I would say, Dawn, the first process that person would do is reach out to whomever realtor's broker, right? Okay. Because all realtors work under a broker, right? Okay. A broker of record. So you may go to that next step, and then if you don't get resolution from that area, the next step is to file a complaint with TREC. If you're dealing with a real estate professional, they do have to provide the guidelines of how to file disputes at the bottom of their email or some form of correspondence. So there is a way to make complaints. It is listed, yes. Right? So you would go through TREC. And what Madam Alexia was talking about, she was talking about our Operation Red. That's our escalation desk, right? If you have any issues with that, you can definitely reach out. But see, that's more, when I think about Operation Red, if we are experiencing something as a professional that we feel we're being discriminated against our clients because we're representing them, one of the major losses in wealth is in appraisals. Right? How many of y'all have said I got an appraisal back, y'all, and this appraisal report had foreclosures. We were clearly not in a foreclosure market. They had went back 3 years using these unnecessary comps, and we're like, why did you go there? Is it because you saw that this is a Black family in a Black neighborhood? You're trying to figure out a way to lower wealth, because now if I get a bad appraisal, I get one $50,000 below the market. Now that family has lost $50,000 in
my
wealth,
goodness.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, it's on paper. So we got to be careful, and you can challenge those appraisals. So NARAB in itself is making strides to make sure that these things don't happen. So we have people in place. So if you feel it, talk about it. But I say, talk about it.
Atia, you, and then Alexia. But before you all go into that, let me tell you, this is the spirit of God, the spirit of wisdom and discernment, education. If you don't know what to ask, Google, instead of getting on the online boutique, get on Google and put in questions to ask an appraiser, right? Questions to ask your doctor, questions to ask before you hire a lawyer.
Yes.
You can, come on. It is not, and I heard Magic Johnson say this. He says, if you don't have the knowledge, that's one thing. But if you have access to it and you do nothing, that's on you.
That's enough.
Some of this stuff is on us. It's not on other people. It's on us. Atia and then Alexia.
So I'm big on statistics and facts. That's something that I have researched, that African Americans have lost a total of $156 billion in property value from the early 2000s.
Wow.
So the average appraisal is roughly around $46,000 less than the home next door that's the same but owned by a white family. So yes, I agree with Madam Felicia. You should always make sure that your appraisals are done correctly and fairly. Yes. And unfortunately, you have to take the pictures down. You have to take evidence down that you are a minority or a person of color, because we're constantly losing $156 billion.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. If Black families were paid that back, which I know they don't want to, we would fill that gap. But that's another story for tomorrow. Working with government to pay us back.
That's another. What happened to the reparations?
Yeah.
Felicia, while you're in Washington, you need to be asking them what they doing about the reparations, or the HBREA is going to be upset. The Dr. Don is coming.
Listen, while we fighting for reparations, I want to be fighting for access. But one of the things, you know what?
I want my reparations.
Well, you know what, Dr. Don, you know what
I'm kidding.
No, you said one of the major things was about education. So, and if we don't go get it, it's on us. And I definitely believe that, because, you know, for so long we can say it's everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But we have to take ownership. I remember some years back, I had to take an introspective review of what's going on, right? Inside, not the outside. And if you are continuing to get the same results, then one, you take a look at yourself, because there's so much education that is around for us that we can access. Now, if you have been discriminated against, or some of these issues you feel like you can't, or somebody's holding you back, right? Have that conversation with a realtor, because what will we do? We'll walk you through that process. You'll have a consultation, and they'll help get you on the next steps or the right track. But Dr. Don, education is key. And like you said, it's too much information for us not to get it. And hey, we're getting ready to start voting. We're going to have an amazing push in order for people to vote. So be a part of HBREA. Join the movement.
And Alexia, I want to start with you with this, and then Atia, and then Felicia. I want to know, because before we got live, we were talking about if you live in Houston, or gentrification, I guess kind of in a way. But if you see in Houston, right, Third Ward, it's changing. They're building multi-million-dollar townhomes. What do you say as real estate agents if people are like, I like the property, but I'm not liking the area? I'll move in after it gets cleaned up, or after more people, you know, because some people I'm sure would be hesitant right now to buy, right? But it could be gold for you. So talk about, I want to start with you, Alexia, having those conversations. People are like, I like the neighborhood. I'm scared of the neighborhood, but I see what they're doing. But is it a good time to move in right now? What do you say?
I tell my clients, if there's some kind of fear about the neighborhood, then by all means, do not make that a place that you reside. Because what you don't need is people who are afraid to live in a neighborhood becoming a part of that neighborhood. Right. And so that's what I
know what happens there.
Exactly. So things that you aren't accustomed to, things that you're not familiar with, you take them in a way that's false. Right. And so now we have small situations that have now exploded because you're unfamiliar, and because you came in with a heart and a mind that wasn't open to the neighborhood. And so maybe you just need to invest there, right? Maybe you don't need to live there if that's going to be your sentiment. And also, but if you also are an investor and want to be a part of the trajectory, you need to get in early. Right? It's not something you want to wait to do, or you will overpay, right?
Because 5 years from now, you're going to be mad.
You're going to wish you had purchased then.
See, don't be moving in and then you looking out the window every 5 minutes, and every time a Black person walk by, you calling the police. No, it's and I'm talking about us too. Y'all might even just get to Sugar Land until you're ready.
That's a great point. Yeah,
I'm just saying, y'all. It is right. Atia, what do you want to say on that? Because it's moving, y'all. Y'all see.
I always tell my clients that it's time to buy in those areas. One is just stereotypes. So in the early 1900s, Dan, like the big Great Migration, a lot of African Americans migrated, and then there was clauses to keep us from being able to be in certain neighborhoods. So the myth is that African Americans don't keep up with their properties, that they're not good neighbors. But the truth is, in the early 1900s, America only had 9 banks for Blacks. So if anyone owned a property in the early 1900s to 1950s, they went through a lot of loopholes just to get that loan. So they weren't able to refinance or keep their property up. So those grandmother's houses, great-grandmother houses, they look the way they do because that's how it was in 1940, and they didn't get any help to rebuild for their generation of families. So that's when I tell them, no, don't steer away from our communities. Move into them. Make it better. Stop the stereotype that we don't take care of our homes, because that's what others see in us. And it's really because we just didn't have the help or the finances to keep up with our neighborhoods. So let's do it now.
I love that. And then, you know what I was thinking, because I go to church off Tier Wester, right? And I see, you know, what's the townhomes being built there. And I'm like, oh, wow, right? And then I think somebody's got to start to make the change, right?
It has to happen.
It can be foolishness in the suburbs too, y'all.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
We know what it's foolishness everywhere. And I was about to say something, but I don't want to be irresponsible, so I'm going to be quiet. But you can protect yourself anywhere.
Exactly. If we don't move in, you know who will, and then it's now their neighborhood.
And then they won't want us in. Right. Even though it's Turkey Leg Hut is owned by us, they don't want, you know, all that going on. And I hope that foolishness is done. You know, they at the Turkey Leg Hut, but don't want us at the turkey. I don't know what that is.
At least hopefully that's close.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And I don't know hopefully that's resolved. But anyway, I got some.
But and you know what, Dr. Don, you when you talk about these 3 stories, these homes are not selling for $100,000. These homes are selling for $300,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes. Why is that? Because that's where the wealth is.
Good.
Okay. So why that's where the wealth is around that area? You have the medical center. That's one of the largest medical centers in the world, right? Yeah. What we have here in Houston. So why do they want that area, right? Think about the access that it has to all the different freeways. Going to NASA, you got 45, you got 59, Airport, you got 16, you have everything. Wonderful. So that's a local central area. Look at what has happened to downtown, right? Yes, they're building. Don't you be afraid to move in, because that's where the wealth is happening. Now, what has happened, and I want us to be conscious of it, is the current homeowners, right? The first thing we think we're losing wealth because, hey, the property taxes are going up. And but property taxes is going up. I already own my home. They just built these high rises over here, and now I'm paying taxes like I got this $300,000 house, but I didn't have this house since my mama had it in 1950, right? Yeah. So they discourage us for us not to keep it and then sell it, and they take that land and now resell it, and now they got a $500,000 property. Yeah. So if there is a problem with maintaining and sustainability, hey, that's what HBREA is. We have classes on that. We teach you how. You know, we just did a class at the Power Center a couple of weeks ago. What you do with Big Mama's house, right? You don't sell it, but build it, keep it, and have wealth with it, right? So that's what you got to do. You might need to fix it up for temporary housing or living and rent that out and make money and go move somewhere else, but don't get rid of the land.
Alexia, I want to start with you with this, okay? And see, we're getting so much information. We know too many realtors to not be, what do we do, Atia, with this property? And I'm going to say this, because I want to start with this. We're going to talk about mortgage lending bias and mortgage lending, and that as well. How do you know the interest rate is high? I don't. You all educate on that as well, Alexia?
Absolutely. And as a real estate professional, you always want to encourage your clients to shop around, right? And to not necessarily put all of their eggs into one basket, right? When it comes to lending, because you will sometimes see a variation in what one lender is able to offer versus another. And so, of course, we make recommendations. We have partners, but everyone's situation is going to be different. And so really being educated on what the difference between a 4.5% interest rate and a 5.5% interest rate are, and how that affects your everyday life, is valuable information that can be make or break for you on a monthly basis when that mortgage is due.
Hello. Atia, let's start with you. HBREA has classes to get your finances in order.
Yes.
Atia showing you. Well, first of all, let's start with this, Atia. How do you know somebody can really afford the house? Okay, so if somebody says, Atia, I want to, and they look good, red bottoms on, are you just going to start showing them houses? How do you check these people out to make sure they really have the money and they're not wasting your time?
Oh, we definitely need to make sure you get a pre-approval.
Okay, so that happens even before.
Yes. My car doesn't move without a pre-approval.
Okay. Hello.
Yes. The only way you'll get me out, of course, is when you come meet me in my office, or we'll meet just to formally meet each other. So you understand your needs, and I can explain to you the first step, which is getting a pre-approval. And that is perfectly fine. But mostly I love to meet potential clients who are interested, but they're green. They have no idea what to do at our HBREA home buyer workshops and events. I'll say, come here. That way they know they're in a room with our preferred lenders to answer those questions that I am not equipped to answer. Absolutely. I also like to stay in my lane. I'm a realtor and that's it. I'm not going to give you any advice on lending or programs. I'll tell you what programs they have that might fit you, and then we're going to go straight to the lender and see where it goes. And I love to explain to my clients, especially clients that are family and friends, that I'm not in that part. I'm not in your business. I don't know your credit. I don't know your bank statements. That is separate. I'm here to be a matchmaker for you in your home. So that is what I like to stress.
But don't tell Atia, Alexia, Felicia that you want a $5 million home and think they're just you're going to have to.
I'm gonna say me too. I want one too, but that does not.
Just because you walk in, you can walk in with red bottoms on all day long, but Alexia's still gonna ask you some questions before she get up. People, let's do things in order here.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna hurt you being in a house you can't afford. Maybe Alexia or Felicia and Atia will say, well, you know what? Maybe what's best for you is this townhome or this whatever. That's why you got people home foreclosed on.
Foreclosure is real.
But
it's real.
So just be honest. Just be honest.
Yes, and and with that being said, the first step to getting that pre-approval is through your lender, right? But one of the great things about HBREA, we have a relationship. We have partners in all different. You have a mortgage banker, you have a mortgage lender, you have the big box bankers, right? They're a part of what we call a lender circle. So we sit around and we have conversations with them about what's the best programs that are out there, right? What's available, what programs do you work with? So then we have an opportunity to be able to refer 3 or 4 of our lender partners, and they find out what product is best for that client, right?
Wonderful.
So one thing that HBREA does, we have an amazing network of industry professionals, because it's just not the lender. You need the inspector, you need the insurance, you need the home warranty. So all of those relationships are within HBREA. So I love that fact, that collaboration, that helps educate us as well, because like Madam Atia said, we're not the lender. We don't know how much you can afford, right? But we can direct you to some industry professionals that can help you. And then after that, it's all gung-ho, baby. Let's go find a house, right? But we know that lender has already qualified you, so that way you won't be that house poor, as you say, Dr. Dawn.
That's right.
Your air conditioning go out and you got an AC unit in a window in a 3-story brick home.
There's no shame in saying, hey, I might need to wait a couple years to get the house I really want. Or saying, we take off the mask to get so you can pay the mortgage. You got to be realistic. Stop trying to keep up with what everybody else is doing. We have seen it, haven't we all? The hurricane happened. How many people couldn't move back into their homes after? Couldn't afford it. That tells you didn't have the insurance, a lot of people were educated. Now you see people building their homes like anybody, because in my neighborhood, people building homes now, they're building them up like 10 feet up above ground, right? But there are people who could not move back in. I'm like, what happened? Couldn't afford, so we've got, and then, it was just so much exposed with that disaster, but let's be honest about our financial situation. Don't worry about all of that. Atia, Alexia, Felicia's not going to make you feel shame. Maybe the first house you can afford is $100,000 or whatever. And there's no shame in that. No shame in it. Now, before we get to the gala, y'all know I always got to give some kind of little lesson. No, seriously, because we want bigger. I want to live in the neighborhood. You don't have to impress anybody. Because I'd rather live below my means. Because I ain't got to worry about nothing. I want to go on vacation anytime I want.
Exactly.
Forget all that. Yeah. And me and Alexia were having girl talk before. I single, no kid. I can do what I want to do with my money. I live below my means. Sometimes I live so below. If the 99-cent store, I'm telling you, there is no shame.
There isn't.
Before we get to the gala, beautiful sisters, I want each of you, Alexia, Atia, and Felicia, talk about HBREA, the privileges of membership, everybody's welcome, all that good stuff. And then we'll talk about the gala.
I can start. I would say for me, my biggest gain from being a part of HBREA, I didn't necessarily see myself as a leader in this way. I was always somebody who just I did what needed to be done. And sometimes maybe people would do that as well, and sometimes they wouldn't. But I think it really has grown me to identifying, okay, no, you are a leader, and this is how you can be impactful to other people. And that's been beneficial to me personally and to my business. It's really invaluable. It's growing pains, right? That comes along with that. But being able to
Hey, have the who's it?
Mute. Now she needs to mute. See, when she doesn't mute, and we can have Sister Girl come, right? Now she doesn't mute. And Atia, see, we can have girl talk here. Felicia, you know you got mute. Now she doesn't mute when she needs to talk.
We can't invite you back.
I told y'all
I am need to mute.
You know what? I was hitting the wrong mute button. I thought I was.
There you go.
Yeah. Mute now. Thank you.
Now you're
then when she don't need to mute. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just glad she didn't say anything we didn't need to
know.
Because it could have been embarrassing for her, right? And I don't delete videos or content, so whatever's up, the HBREA scandal, whatever's going on. You and Tia.
So I would like to say that the benefits of it is just the unity, like being united. That's important because I love history. If you can't tell, I can talk all day about history. And one thing that I truly believe that we had during the toughest times of our lives in the early 1900s is that we were more united. So I want to be around unity, and that's what I'm seeing in HBREA. I have so many people I can touch and reach that have been in this industry for so long who have went through obstacles I'm just going through. And that is what I love, because this industry is not easy. Being a realtor is not easy. I mean, when somebody calls me and says that thing about being a realtor, it takes everything in me to say no.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Just wait. But you have to know it's still an amazing career to have. But you have to be strong. You have to be ready, because you are responsible for someone's the most important, exciting, stressful time in their life. And you put on so many hats, and you need that community of people to be able to talk to, run to, get information from, maybe even help you. Yes. So most of all, my mentors are leaders in HBREA, and I can call them, and they don't expect anything from it. They just want to see me win. And that there brings me to tears.
I love that, y'all. And that's real, the unity. And you said that. Just a great, again, the spirit of the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Madam President, and in your speech, because I know it's going to be good. But don't give us the gala speech. Give us the radio wrap it up speech. HBREA, everybody's welcome. And how do we join? Give it to us.
You know, I love it. I'm in the right place here with you, Dr. Dawn, and these leaders. It's no judgment, just realness. Girl, I'm trying to get back to the sneaker ball.
Hurry up.
Look, one thing that I want y'all to, once you in any of our HBREA and NARAB events, you're going to always want to be a part, right? Because what we do is we educate and we help you develop. And that's what Madam Alexia talked about, is that personal development. Because when you're in the game, you can't tell what you're missing and you can't sow into yourselves. That's why you got to have that coach and that mentor. And I will tell you, we definitely have that level of leadership here inside of our organization. So one, I have to say thank you. I'm super excited. I get emotional when I really think about that. The president of this organization, it was around before I was even born. And I always believe that we are the sum total of what other people have invested in us directly or indirectly. So someone else paved the way so we can do exactly what we're doing here on today. So I definitely appreciate that. Now, how can you be a part? Go to hbreahouston.org. You can follow us on Facebook. I'm a Facebook girl. Atia and them, those are the young millennials, their Instagram and all of that, right? Join HBREA. And if you want to be a part, if you're a business owner, and if you're struggling in your business or if you're booming in your business, the HBREA is the place to be, because why? You may have something that somebody else needs that you can help them along the way. And that's what I love about HBREA. And I'm excited about the gala. You know, we did a community wealth building day at the Rock Church, Dr. Dana Carson and Lady Rochelle Carson on this past Sunday. And some of their members were real estate professionals and didn't know anything about HBREA. But when they saw us and they got connected with us, they joined us. So we went in to share with the community about real estate and to help them understand the democracy in housing, help those people that want to buy. But when other real estate or industry professionals get connected with our organization, they excel, because just like Madam Atia said, it's that camaraderie that we have. Join hbrea.org is the direct link.
Let me tell y'all something. I was somewhere and they said, Dr. Don, you're not a realtor, are you? Because they know I do a lot of stuff, but I ain't no realtor, right? I said, I'm a member. I said, y'all know I'm around doing things. They said, yeah, I thought you wasn't a realtor. I said, hey, I'm a member. I love the HBREA, love what you all do. I will be at the gala, maybe with a dress from Ross, whatever, because I didn't order. Look, I didn't have time. I was telling Alexia, maybe I'll get a Ross special off clearance, because you know how it is when you're running around. Either way, I'll be looking good and my makeup will be done. Don't worry about all that. Really, come as you are, because look, I bought a full page ad and some tickets, a couple tickets.
Yes, indeed.
And for my assistant as well. So
your support.
We're not going to be janky and sneaking in. Even my assistant is we paid for her too. Let's do it right. We will be there because we're ready to what? Reset and align for great, right, ladies?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now look, go ahead. And then
I'm sorry. So we're talking about our amazing gala. This is our awards gala. It's a biannual gala, so you need to come this time, or you're gonna have to wait 2 years. Okay, to see this happen again. But I don't recall us talking about what's going to happen on that night.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm kind of like, you should have bought a ticket by now. Yeah, go ahead.
HBREAGala.org. Get your ticket today. But y'all, the monies and the proceeds are going toward our scholarships, right? We give away scholarships to for young students that are going to school, right? But not only that, guys, you'll be able to see all of the upcoming top 20 real estate industry professionals in the Houston area. They will be crowned for their greatness, right? But on top of that, our new leadership is coming in. Our officers and our board members are coming in. And you know what, guys? We're HBREA is a 501c6, right? We're not paid to do this. We're doing this because we love what we do. So you're going to see some leaders that you did not know was a part of the board, right? That are coming to give. And I am excited to celebrate with y'all, because we're gonna be partying. We got the Mad Hatter in the place, y'all.
And Rob,
we got Dr. Don is going to be emceeing with us, okay? And then we have Rob G, the general, because we're gonna turn it up. I used to always ask Madam Marla, can I turn it up? This time we can turn it up, right? I'm excited.
She turned it up too. She's great.
Oh
Now,
yeah, she
ladies.
be dancing too. And Madam Kim,
Now,
we all have
ladies.
fun.
Now, ladies, yes. And I look, we are going to have a good time. And the name of the show tonight, instead of It's No Judgment, Just Realness, it's No Judgment, Just Realtors. I've changed the name for you.
You got to say real tis.
Real
we
tis,
are
okay.
real tis.
It's
real
no,
tis.
it's no judgment. It's no judgment, just real tis.
There we go.
Yeah. Now look, if y'all see the Dr. Don trying to sell y'all a house, y'all know good and well y'all need to go report because I ain't. No, we gonna do this. I'm radio, not realtist. Amen. You see me with some signs, y'all know good and well I'm trying to get in on some housing goal going integrity, y'all. Now, ladies, have a good night. Go get your dress. I'm sure it's our Atia. I already know you ladies.
I just picked it up from the,
Where'd you get your dress, Atia? I know she got something, honey.
So I am a frugal person. I know how to find fabulous things on their dime.
Oh,
so
yes.
I found a dress that was zipper broke at Nordstrom's off the rack. And all I did is take it to someone who I knew can fix it and change the dress up.
There we go.
Hello.
See, that's that personality at high.
See, that's somebody I want selling me a house. Yeah, it may be some cracks, but we can zip that up and get that zip.
Yeah, we'll fix this.
Now, yeah, we'll fix it, but I ain't falling through no stairs. I'm just telling you. Now, ladies, I want to say God bless you. I would love to have y'all all night, but I've got things to do. But it's no judgment, just realtist tonight. No judgment, just realtist.
Realtist.
I like saying that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready, and I'll be up there on stage for 5 minutes, whatever y'all gave me. Yeah, that little co-host situation, whatever. I'm just glad to be a part of it. No, seriously, we have a good time. These are some good people. Alexia, Atia, Felicia. We pray. We know it's going to be a blessed night.
Yes, thank you.
Felicia, enjoy it. She's going to be crying. We're excited for you, girl.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good night, madams. I like how y'all say madam. Yeah. Y'all make me feel like a lady. I need.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, y'all.
Good
God bless you.
Ball in Washington.
Have fun.
Okay. Hello. She didn't tell us about that. Yeah, but that's none of our business.
Hey,
what's going on?
I'm working hard, but I'm playing too. I'm working hard.
That's how it's supposed to be.
We coming back to Houston. Our man Sylvester Turner got some stuff. Hey, it's almost his earning time, but he got some stuff he coming back with.
And we could talk about the mayoral election coming up, man. I mean, Sheila said I'm in the game. So that's I'm interested how the mayoral race is going to be, but that's not y'all business. We'll talk about that offline.
Another time, another day. Bye, y'all.
Another topic for another time. Goodbye, lady.
Bye.